Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet. Amidst the development of Bitcoin and thousands of other cryptocurrencies, India is all set to create a framework for creation of an official digital currency, which will be issued by the RBI. A bill in this regard will be tabled in the upcoming winter session of the Parliament. The primary idea of the RBI behind this move is to protect consumers from the appalling level of volatility seen in the digital currency. Well, it will have its own benefits and challenges. In the next half an hour, we will discuss the impact of India's digital currency on the country and its economic situation as well. We'll talk about this with our guest. Joining me on the platform at this point in time is Mr. Siddharth Sogani, CEO of Quebeco Global Incorporated and Bitcoin expert. Also joining us on the show is Hanif Sheikh, CEO of Up Social Network, expert on cryptocurrency, NFT and DEX. Akash Jindal, senior economist, is also here with us. Last but by no means the least, Anndy Lian, co-founding member of Influxo, is also joining us on the program. Mr. Jindal, let me start by asking you a very simple question. The government obviously is worried about, like I said in my opening monologue, about the volatility of the cryptocurrency and that how it can be misused. It is important to rein it in, and the RBI too is also worried that there is a huge chunk of money which is flowing towards the cryptocurrencies when it comes to investments, instead of going to the banking system where assets perhaps will not be given much attention, and that attention will be given to cryptocurrency, thus impacting the total economic atmosphere of the country. Do you think that a blanket ban is not what the government has up its sleeve, and it is perhaps in the right direction, but one that will perhaps drive out a number of cryptocurrencies out of India? Mr. Jindal, your thoughts?
A very nice question, Vineet. What I expect is that perhaps, now this is there's the word perhaps which I'm using because we don't know what is there in the bill. Perhaps crypto would not be allowed as a currency, but as an asset class, it may be allowed. Because what happens is, currency, as you have rightly pointed out many things. Now, if we talk about currencies have to be backed by central bank. Now, simplify things. If we take 100 rupee note out of our wallet, it says, मैं धारक को 100 रुपया अदा करने का वचन देता हूँ, signed by RBI governor. Now, if you go to, if you see a US dollar, which is US currency, up to a certain extent global currency. Now, what is mentioned is, this note is a legal tender for all debts, public and private, and signed by the Treasurer of United States of America. Pound sterling, the language is almost similar to what there is in Indian rupee. So, all the currencies are backed by central banks or central governments. Now, crypto, the question which arises is that who is backing it? Is there any central bank? Is there any central government? Is there any body which is backing it? Not only, as a currency, but as a, investment tool also. There are certain questions. Now, if I go and book a bank FD with any bank, XYZ bank, at a 5% rate of interest, after 1 year, I have a right to go and demand from that bank that, look, pay me my principal and interest, and there's a bank standing behind that FD. There's a bank which is a guarantor for that FD that, yes, I have taken money from Akash Jindal, I'll pay you back. Second, of course, is not being a regulator. There's no regulators. Even if I buy 1,000 rupees accident insurance, there's a regulator called IRDA. If I invest into a bank FD for 5,000, there's a regulator called RBI. Even if I buy 150 rupees mobile plan, there's a regulator called Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. So getting it regulated is very important. But what is interesting is, in case you read the name of the bill, it is cryptocurrency and regulation of official digital currency. Now, it doesn't say regulation of cryptocurrency. So the name itself says, perhaps they are trying to regulate the digital currency. So cryptocurrency is not regulation of cryptocurrency and digital currency. So we have to actually see what sort of provisions are there for cryptocurrency. Now, as far as digital currency is concerned, I think it's a much welcome move. We definitely need a digital currency by RBI backed by the government, because it's the need of the hour. Now, let me update our viewer. Already in February 2021, there is a global survey. Around 111 countries are planning to either research or to start digital currencies. Now, digital currency has many benefits. China is already working seriously on a digital yuan. Firstly, as we all know, digital currency, the cost of printing is almost nil or minimal. Apart from it, there's another big advantage. Now we are already know how normal currency is being transferred by wire, by SWIFT, by credit cards. But if through digital means it's transferred, digital currency is transferred, firstly, the lag, the time taken between the transfer would be reduced or perhaps even be zero. And the cost also would be highly reduced. So that is also very important. So launch of digital currency, I think, is a welcome move. And China has already started experimenting.
It's a welcome move. We'll talk about China as well. Siddharth Sogani, the idea of cryptocurrency when it was formulated in 2008 was, in a sense, to bypass the banking system. But here we are in 2021. Once again, since it's bypassed the banking system, there is going to be regulation around cryptocurrency. What do you make of the government's decision to regulate?
Hi. So I think it wasn't created to bypass the banking system, but to create an alternate for people who want to transact in a peer-to-peer manner. So I think a lot of people say that Bitcoin was created to, to encourage or to demean the banking system. Nothing like that. We were dependent on SWIFT and banking channels, and now we have an alternate which is decentralized. For the government, they have their own concerns. They have concerns of capital outflow, monitoring the transactions and everything. So I think with clear regulations, exchanges can be regulated in the right manner. Investors would know how to show it in their books of accounts so that they can pay the right amount of taxes. And, the foreign direct investment, which is, a huge potential for India. All that can come directly to India instead of going to offshore entities. A lot of Indian companies have offshore entities so that, they can welcome investment. That would all come to India. And also the the employment possibilities in India would grow. So I think a regulation is needed, and we are very close to it.
Okay, Hanif Sheikh. China obviously did ban cryptocurrency, and the fallout was that a lot of people, a lot of that investment, and a lot of that interest was spilled over in the United States. We don't want to make that same mistake in India.
You are absolutely right. See, I am in Dubai and from last 3-4 days, and I've been meeting investors. And Mr. Siddharth rightly pointed out, people are trying to register their companies offshore so that they can get the investment, and we are also trying to do the same. So the amount of money which is flowing into the crypto industry, we as a country should not miss that. We should be regulating that. We should be taxing whatever laws are applicable, but we shouldn't be missing the amount of investment which is getting poured into the crypto industry. So I think we are very close to that, and lawmakers, and we have to trust our lawmakers to make the right decisions so that the money which is coming into this gets invested into India and creates a lot of opportunities for the job seekers.
Okay, Andy, you've already heard the news. This is something which was also, taken up in 2018, but the Supreme Court of India came into the picture. They said that until regulation is founded around cryptocurrency, there is not going to be a ban. Now the government is working on that. What do you make of this development? Is it the step in the right direction?
I think the right direction is fairly obvious. We have to embrace innovation. And cryptocurrency in all manners, as pointed out by the rest of the panelists, is that we have to embrace it because cryptocurrency is here to stay. It is the future of currency. Whether you want to call it as a currency or a digital asset, whatever it is, we have to embrace it because there are good things that comes with cryptocurrency, and of course, through some of the mainstream media, they may be saying that cryptocurrency is here for all the illegal things, money laundering, and so forth. But come on, man, let's be very, very, very truthful about this. I think the top currency that is used to do all those illegal things will still be the very common US dollars, right? And to be very honest, if you send the Bitcoin to the very bad actors, all these things are being recorded on chain. How are you going to cash it out? Where are you going to flow? Are the bad actors so daring to do that? I really don't think so. And on top of that, I'm actually the chairperson for Big One Exchange. We are top 40 globally. good actors, good exchanges who go through the same regulatory steps to ensure that KYC, AML are all
Correct.
in place. All these things will just be minimized.
Absolutely. Very good point. Very good point, Andy. This is absolutely the need of the hour. But Mr. Jindal, Shaktikanta Das, the RBI governor, also went to the extent of saying that cryptocurrencies pose a serious concern to the macroeconomic and financial stability of India. What did he mean by that? And, are cryptocurrencies such a threat, to the economic environment of any country?
See, I have heard all my three friends, and I, up to quite extent, endorse their views. See, there are two aspects to this.
Well, what do you make of what the RBI governor said? That was the question. Please answer that first.
No, I'm coming to it. I'm coming to that only.
Okay.
Now, cryptocurrency, when we talk about it, there are two aspects to it. One is currency, one is an asset class. Now, I definitely can't speak for the RBI governor, but perhaps when he was speaking, he was talking about the currency component. So we have to look at cryptocurrency in two angles. One as a currency, one as an asset class. Maybe as a currency, it may not be allowed in future, maybe perhaps. But as an asset class, it may be allowed. So these are the two different things. So perhaps the RBI governor was mentioning about the currency, because currency, if there's a currency which is not being regulated by RBI, which is being not circulated by RBI, which is not being monitored by RBI, there could be certain issues. So when we talk about a currency, so when we talk about an asset class, I quite substantially endorse what my three friends have been saying, that asset class, if it is regulated, if you have a regulator who tells us do's and do nots, that this is what the investors can do, this is what they are supposed to do, whether they can buy, whether they can't buy, the procedure of buying, and which are the people who can issue it, which are the people who can run those exchanges, how those exchanges can be monitored, how they can be functioned. In case I have a grievance towards anybody, where do I go? See, if I have a grievance towards a bank FD, I know there's a regulator called RBI, I can go. If I have a grievance regarding an insurance policy, I can go to IRDA. Similarly, mobile plan, I can go to Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Land, I can go to RERA. So if we have a regulator, then there would be some grievance redressal mechanism also, do's and do nots also. Like in case of stock market also, if I am buying any XYZ company's shares, there's a board of directors which is running that company, which is according to the Companies Act. Now, in case they are doing something which is contrary to the Companies Act, I can always go to the regulator and say that this is what they are doing, and I can have grievance redressal mechanism. Similarly, they have a way, they have an AGM, annual general meeting, where I can go and raise my issues, raise my doubts, raise my suggestions. So this is where it comes. According to me, it should be regulated. There should be regulations. Once the government comes out with the regulations, tell that, look, this is what I can do as an investor, this is what I cannot do, this is what a cryptocurrency issuer can do, this is what how the exchange is going to function, this is what the participants or the people running it, how they are going to be functioning, how they are going to be regulated. I think things would be smoothened out. Like as of now, you compare it with the stock market. Stock brokers are regulated.
Correct.
Stock market investors, they do not. Stock exchanges are regulated. Stock exchanges also have certain mechanisms, and they have to follow those principles. Companies are regulated. Every company has to have a company secretary. They have to have a board of directors. They have to have a principal officer called managing director. I think that is what we need as far as regulation is concerned. So I welcome this move to regulate the cryptocurrency. And that would ease a lot of problems and perhaps do away with a lot of doubts also. Once it's regulated, the government has a regulation, many doubts would be removed immediately from all other regulators. Yeah.
Right, and Siddharth Sokhani, the flip side to this would also be that perhaps the government understands the potential and the enormity of the success of the cryptocurrency, and basically wants to cash in on the future by having its own coin.
Yes, so of course, like last Monday, I was there at the Parliament, and the government was quite, they asked us very well informed questions. So I would say that we are not seeing any any ban kind of a thing. However, the currency which they are planning to launch is a CBDC, that's central bank regulated digital currency, and that is not decentralized. That is issued by the sovereign. It will be KYC verified, and I think it will be given access only to Indians. Whereas crypto is decentralized, and anybody across the globe can join, right? So I think we are comparing apples and oranges when we talk about CBDCs and traditional cryptocurrencies or crypto assets, whatever you call it. But we shouldn't confuse that centralized and decentralized blockchain. They're totally different two things. India already has a robust payment system in place like UPI, NFT, IMPS, and RTGS. They're one of the best in the world. I think even US or no other country offers such payment and micropayment mechanism for almost no cost at all.
True.
Hence, having a CBDC is a good thing. Definitely, it's a good thing, but it's not making any big difference because our UPI is anyways very, very, very successful. So what we need is a decentralized currency, like Bitcoin.
Okay. Hanif, there's also going to be concern over, the spend that's already occurred when it comes to cryptocurrency. 40,000 crores worth of rupees are, at stake right now. What's going to become of that? That is also a headache which the government will have to address.
So I think the government have been saying this from the start that they are not going to ban this outright, just like the demonetization happened. In fact, within the demonetization, they allowed good amount of time for people to exchange their old notes. So here also, if they do, and I'm very highly skeptical of that they'll come out and do an outright ban on the cryptocurrency, because that would mean that it's kind of very challenging to do that, and up to an extent very an impossible task to do an outright ban on the cryptocurrencies because it is decentralized. And B, we'll have to lose the amount of investment which can come into the crypto industry altogether and create a good opportunity for the people of India. And it would be very difficult to just kind of ban this. So you are very right that people would face a lot of challenges if they have to ban it outright, okay? And the huge amount of investment which has already gone into that would go for a toss. So I'm very skeptical of this happening.
Okay. That is absolutely correct. There is going to be a lot of problems if, there's going to be a blanket ban. Andy, but at the same time, how important is the concept of decentralization when it comes to the concept, or rather the thought or the idea of a cryptocurrency?
I think we have to be very clear that decentralization does not mean, removing the governments and removing the banks.
Correct.
We have to be very clear on that. And whenever I talk to the government folks, I always emphasize the fact that when we talk about decentralization, we are not moving away from your legacy system or your financial system. No matter what, we are living in the real world, not in the metaverse. We have to really use money as we move along. So we will still make use of the fiat, make use of the actual cash, to live on, right? So I think that the term decentralization must not be tweaked such that it seems to be a bad thing. When we talk about decentralization, we have proper entities, we have proper companies to back some part of the companies, so we are not going on a cowboy mode where everything is not registered, you can't find a guy, so forth and so on. This is not true. All right. So when you look at some projects, they will say that their founders are docs, but then where are you going to find a document, right? It is actually been kept in a centralized depository, where if something were to happen, you will still be able to find who that guy or who that team is. So I think when we come back to the word decentralization, I would always love to use the term re-decentralize. We have to redefine the term so that the government folks, the family officers, the traditional banking people got to know what we are talking about. And when we talk about, again, from a company registration perspective, it is actually very no different, from what you experience in the traditional space, right? Same for an exchange, like Big One, we are probably addressing to all the different kind of financial requirements that are available. We are properly regulated. So for the same, with a lot of other exchanges. So let's be more open-minded and really try to embrace it.
Absolutely, Andy, and I think that is what the government is being. They are being open-minded. They are being progressive about the whole thing. And I'm sure when the bill is being drafted, they would have had all the experts to give their confounding views and give their broad and elaborate views as well on what the cryptocurrency market pertains and what are the volatilities and the risks. Thank you everyone for being a part of this wonderful show.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.